Information came to light a few weeks ago regarding an alleged plot to assassinate the president and the former defense secretary. Allegations were leveled at the DIG in charge of the Terrorism Investigation Division, Nalaka de Silva, while at the same time the media reported on the IGP's involvement in alleged financial fraud. While the IGP's visit to Scotland was cancelled by the Prime Minister, the DIG was initially transferred and subsequently interdicted. This series of incidents transpired while the former president and a Sri Lankan parliamentary delegation were concluding a visit to India. While politicos from across the divide have shown a great deal of interest in these incidents, is the government showing sufficient concern when it comes to almost daily incidents of gun violence in the streets, resulting in the deaths of ordinary people? A 40-year-old woman was shot dead last afternoon in the Valikurunduwatta area in Kapuwatta, Jayala. The woman was shot while travelling in a car from her home to the Jayala town. Her 8-year-old daughter was in the car with her when the gunman opened fire. Police suspect that she was not the target of the shooting. The Jayala police station is located a mere 2 kilometers from where the shooting took place. A CCTV camera in the vicinity captured this footage of the suspects fleeing the scene in a motor vehicle. The remains of the victim were to be brought to her home tonight.
No, no one has been arrested so far. The IGP ordered the DIG in charge of the northern part of the Western Province to conduct the investigation directly under his purview.
ඒ ඇවිල්ලා යන පුද්ගලයාව තමයි මෙහෙම ටාගට් කරලා අවිල්ලා මේ වෙඩි තියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙයා මේ සිද්ධියෙන් පස්සේ ජායල පොලිසියට ගිහින් බාර වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා තියෙනවා.
I cannot state anything as these things have not been revealed from the investigation.
පොලිසියට බාර වෙලා තියෙනවාද මේ පැලිය කොට? මට ඒක පරීක්ෂා කරන්න අවශ්‍ය.
We need to do an investigation. You cannot say that this was a mistake because although this was a mistake, killing a person is not a mistake. We are carrying out an investigation to find out the reason behind this.
මොකද්ද කියන එක ගැන විමර්ශන සිදු කරනවා.
Meanwhile, 2 men were shot to death inside a home in Rattotavilla, Uragasmang, Handya last night. The deceased have been identified as 30-year-old former soldier Saman Suresh and his friend Chamila Deepal, who is reportedly a former sailor. Suresh had been decapitated post-mortem and his head had been dumped about 200 meters away from the house.
2015 11 මාසේ 3 වෙනිදා මේ පුද්ගලයාගේ සහෝදරයා වෙඩි තියනවා බයික් එකේ යද්දි. ඊට පස්සේ වෙඩි තිබ්බ සැකකරුව 2015 12 මාසේ 3 වෙනිදා බෙල්ල කපලා ගෙනත් තියනවා ඔය හන්දියෙම. දැන් මේ සම්බන්ධව දැන් දිගින් දිගට මේක එකක් නෙමෙයි දෙකක් පොලිසිය අරන් තියෙන ක්‍රියාමාර්ග මොනවද ඒ වගේම ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ නිරන්තරයෙන් විමසීමක් කරොත් කියන විමර්ශන කරනවා කියලා. හැබැයි දැන් 3 දෙනෙක් මේ වෙනකොට ඝාතනය වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ විමර්ශනවල තත්ත්වය කුමක්ද?
දෙපිරිසක් අතර මේ දෙපැත්ත.
Certain revelations were made during the investigations about a dispute between two parties. The suspects have also been identified. We are hoping to arrest those suspects as soon as possible. Also, court proceedings are underway with regard to the previous cases. There were murder and smuggling cases on both sides.
කැම් කිහිපයක් තියෙනවා දෙපැත්තටම.
අර ප්‍රශ්නේ සම්බන්ධවම උරගස්මන් දැන් මේක 2015 දී දැන් මේ අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්ත පුද්ගලයන් අපිට ඉන්නවද එළියේ නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්
ඒක
I will have to check on the situation. Someone who was arrested in 2015 can most probably be released on bail. A suspect is usually granted bail. That is a provision of law.
ඒක අපේ නීතියේ තියෙන ප්‍රතිපාදන.
5 murders have been reported in the past 24 hours, while 3 of these involved the use of firearms. The police have as yet been unable to apprehend or even identify the perpetrators of these crimes. The Sri Lanka police is entrusted with the duty of upholding law and order in the country. Identifying suspects after a crime is committed and enforcing the law against them is the duty of the police by the citizens of this country. While several incidents have been reported in the recent past where unidentified gunmen have shot dead people in broad daylight, the law has been lethargic to say the least when it comes to enforcement. Delays in serving justice have a severe impact on good governance and democracy. The government must take responsibility for this. However, what has transpired? Many of these crimes and murders can be traced back to a clandestine nexus between the underworld, drug smugglers, politicians and certain businessmen. Security forces have been left impotent in dealing with these criminals because they operate with the blessings of politicians. Shootings in broad daylight and brutal murders are being normalized in the country's news cycle. If public representatives elected by the people's vote work to strengthen and ensure the independence of law enforcement and provide correct leadership for them, dealing with the underworld and these criminals will not be a challenge for the police and security forces who were able to defeat one of the most ruthless terrorist outfits in the world. For the attention of the people.